Zombie apocalypse. Obviously, we don't have to worry about zombies, but we do have to worry about our ability to respond to an immediate situation. Something that happens in the middle of the day, and you realize that there's not going to be any authorities coming to save you, and you're pretty much on your own. You're responsible for your own security. You got to meet up with your family. Basic resources are not available. You got to respond. So maybe you're at work and there's some commotion, and you go outside your office and you hear people, you see people moving around, people abandoning the office. Some people are watching TV reports of violence spread out throughout the country. There's a viral outbreak, and they don't have a lot of details on it. You see clips of officials saying the situation's under control, blah blah blah. But you see people around you just panicking. There's something going on in your own city, near your place of employment. People realize the situation's not under control. So you're basically looking at a situation where people are able to pass a virus by attacking one another, and you have to respond. So what I would recommend first, I know a lot of people are going to have the temptation to just pick up the phone and call their family and try to reach out, make sure they're okay. What I would think first is keep yourself safe. Get to a safe place where other people don't have access to you, where you have some type of shelter. Then try to make that phone call. Then try to get that radio that you have. Then try to make that attempt, because if you're trying to call home and try to make sure everybody's okay, but you're not secure, I mean, you're setting yourself up for a bad situation. So I would do that first. If you can't make contact, you should already have a plan with your family to meet up at a certain location. If the daycare is halfway between your job and your house, and you have your brother lives closer to the daycare, you should already have a protocol where if he's at home, he'll go and pick up your kids. Make sure he has Make sure you have that your brother, your sister, or somebody you trust who can pick up your kids at daycare or at school, who lives nearby. So if something like that does happen, and doesn't even have to be like a zombie apocalypse or whatever, just a big national emergency, a big situation where you are worried about your kids, you should already have that arranged. You should already have a person. You should already clarify, okay, under these circumstances, if there's something going on nationally, or it's a crisis, and you can't get a hold of me, automatically go to that school and pick up my kids. Pick up our kids and bring them back to your place. So you should know who's going to pick up your kids and where you're going to go. You got to come up with that type of plan right up front, straight up. That's something you should already have planned. Transportation, I don't know if it's an EMP type of situation, but let's just stick with the whole zombie situation. If it's an EMP situation, you should have a route. If you can't use your vehicle, you should have a route home. If you need a map, get a map. But you should already know how you're going to walk home, which roads you're going to follow, which potential problems, which problem neighborhoods you might go near or through. Such you should already have thought out. But anyway, you go to your vehicle, get in your vehicle. First thing you should do is get armed. Protect yourself. Protect yourself. Make sure you have all the resources available. And if you carry on your hip, make sure you have another firearm, possibly, that's available, it's easy for you to access. In case you're in your car and something happens, you got to grab your gun and defend yourself. Obviously, you're not looking to do anything illegal or anything crazy, but I'm just saying, if you get attacked, you get bogged in somewhere, you want to at least have options of defending yourself. You're not looking for trouble, you're trying to defend yourself. Just some ideas. Again, I recommend you do A, B, or C. I'm just saying, there's just some stuff, at least when it comes to guns, there's some stuff you might want to actually consider. When you get home, I have a practice of always clear the house. I go through every single room in the house, and yes, I'm armed. No, I don't have my gun drawn, but it is on my hip. It is in my holster. I go through every single room. I inspect every single room, inspect the windows, the closets, all of it. If you get into the habit of that, that'll really help you in that type of situation. So you may go straight home, or you may go to that designated location to pick up your kids. Something to keep in mind. You may even want to go as far as having code words for everything's okay. A word for that, for another code word for there might be trouble nearby. Just something to think about. You may even have radios, even those walkie-talkie radios. Choose a particular station in your secondary station if the primary station is working for you. So when you get close to the place, you turn on your radios and you talk to one another. So the designated place where you're going to pick up your kids, they can actually tell you, hey, by the way, there's a hazard coming up as you drive down such and such road. Avoid this road. So if cell phones aren't working, that could be an idea that could really help you out. Something you might want to actually consider. So these are some things I think about as far as, you know, the zombie apocalypse. So let's talk a little bit more about self-defense. My everyday carry is this Glock 21 chambered in 45 ACP. Big fan of 45 ACP. I prefer that. 2 spare magazines. And a zombie apocalypse scenario, or scenario where I was dealing with, well, in that scenario, I would probably consider a Glock 9mm. This is a Glock 17, extended mags, up to 31 rounds, mag carrier. So yeah, I definitely prefer 45 ACP. But if I end up with a group of people, I gotta work with them, I gotta share magazines, a 9mm might be more appropriate. I definitely like 9mm as well. I'm not one of these 45 guys who say, oh, 9mm is useless. Absolutely not. You know, I'm an AK guy, but that doesn't mean that, hey, I consider you know, ARs to be useless. Absolutely not. I do think AKs are more reliable, but ARs, I'm definitely familiar with them. I'm definitely getting even more familiar with them. And this would be an AR I would rely on, that type of scenario. It's easy to maneuver around areas. And with this pistol, and it will definitely be my go-to. But yeah, as you drive around, you might want to have a pack with an additional firearm, and something that's a little more easily accessible than what you'll normally have. And you got to have it configured correctly, but just the idea behind it is that you just reach inside, grab a firearm, and defend yourself if that is necessary. Obviously, you don't want to break any laws or anything like that, but definitely something to consider for sure. Inside of this pack, I have extra magazines for this Glock 30. Here it is right here. I even have the option to use a Glock 21 mag, put the X grip on one of those mags. So it gives me Glock 21 capacity of 13+1 with a Glock 30. But anyway, once you get home, you want to, you know, secure your vehicle. You want to secure your home. You may want to board up some stuff. You want to have your hammer and some basic tools around that can help you out with that stuff. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But these are some ideas. This is how I would approach the so-called zombie apocalypse. And you can actually use this approach for a lot of different scenarios.